Hi there, Dr. Dave here, and it's time to rise and whine. I flew back from Charlotte on Tuesday night after delivering a seminar for a client, and I was in the last row of the plane in an aisle seat, and when we landed, I stood up getting ready to get off the plane, and there was a young woman in the seat across the aisle in the same row asking me how far a terminal was where she had to get on her next flight. And as we started talking, she shared with me that she had had quite a journey getting just to Philadelphia. She had flown from Peru to Mexico and Mexico to Chicago and had a flight from Chicago to Florida where she was supposed to meet up with her family. But the flight was canceled and she spent a couple of hours in Chicago waiting for a new flight which would take her to Philadelphia and then down to Florida. And I said, "You must be exhausted. Like, how are you in a good mood?" Because she was sort of smiling while she was telling me this story. And she said, "Well, I only have this one flight left, and in 2 hours I'll be with my family in Florida." And we continued to talk as we were waiting to deplane. And she showed me this little toy llama that she had bought for her daughter at a gift shop. And she was smiling while she showed me this cute little toy and said, and it was only $1, and she was excited about that. And she asked me if I had ever been to Peru, and she began to describe it and what a beautiful country it was, and she encouraged me to go. And as we got off the plane, our path through the concourse took us in the same direction, and she began just sharing more details of her life. And in each spot where I thought there may have been something negative, she turned it into a positive. She told me that her sister married an American and he chose not to learn Spanish. He didn't want to learn Spanish. And I said, "Oh, he really should learn Spanish." And she said, "Well, no, if he learned Spanish, he would know what we were saying when we talked to each other." And by the time that we parted company, as she went to her terminal and I went to the parking garage, I felt happier. And I was thinking about why. And I think that she has three keys to the art of happiness that she clearly lives, whether she realizes it or not. One is that she did not dwell on the past. Despite all of these trips, these plane trips that she had already taken, she was really just focused on the last leg of the journey, the last piece. The second thing that she did that I thought was excellent was she was delighted by small things. And so she showed me this little toy llama, and you could see she was just beaming, thinking about not just the fact that it was just $1, but that she was going to give it to her daughter and would make her daughter happy. And finally, she knew how to share the things that made her happy. There was something infectious about this joy that she had about the everyday things in life. We really do have the choice to be happy in any situation, and I think that she really had these different things covered in terms of how she clearly viewed and lived her life. And I'm glad that she shared some of that with me, because it definitely left me in a more positive mood than right before I started talking with her. I hope you have a fantastic day, and thank you for spending a minute of it with me.